Earlier this year, while searching through images related to Antarctica, I came across this very curious illustration of a medieval structure set way out in the mountains. The proportions in the layout don't match any known structure in Europe. Some said Florida Maquis. It's just an illustration. It could just be a creation of someone's mind. Well, if you were going for an authentic image of a medieval castle, why would you put modern storage silos in the background? The two things argue with each other. Whatever this is, somebody recreated it from memory, because it just wouldn't make any sense otherwise. I had made the allegation that perhaps this was something that was observed in Antarctica, that perhaps it was tied to giants, and of course, many people laugh and point fingers, but I'm used to that. Well, in today's video, I would like to show more evidence that this could very well be a real place. You see, every single map ever used to explore the world, going back as far as we can tell, was an illustration. Somebody put ink to parchment. So the idea that this is simply an illustration doesn't make it inherently inaccurate. It may have just been the person's inability to take a photograph. It also depends on when it was drawn, too. It occurred to me that perhaps these towers in the back weren't storage silos. Perhaps they were exhaust towers, like you would see at a power plant. Now, that would be a leap, but there is evidence that there could be that type of power generation in Antarctica. This is another image that I've used. They revealed years ago that there was hot rock underneath Antarctica and volcanoes as well, causing massive amounts of melting on the underside of glaciers, causing water to be heated and water to flow and fill up lakes. And that's covered right here. And this is ScienceAlert.com. A hidden radioactive heat source seems to be melting East Antarctica from below. Geothermal heat. Now, what do we know about geothermal? It's a power source. And this is where I took that image from. I'll give you this link and you can read it. Ice there appears, in this area, appears to be melting from the bottom up, according to radar readings taken by an aircraft flying over the frozen continent. As the base of the Antarctic ice sheet melts, meltwater drains away and fills up subglacial lakes downstream. So what does that say? We have melting water that's flowing. Flowing water is a power source. Steam is a power source. Geothermal is a power source. So all three things are now confirmed existing. We also have this story that we've used many, many times. September 8th, 2017. Phys.org. Warm Antarctic caves harbor secret life scientists. The caves hollowed out by, you ready for this? By steam from active volcanoes are light and could reach temperatures of 25 degrees Celsius, 77 Fahrenheit, researchers said, raising the possibility of a whole ecosystem of flora and fauna deep beneath the frozen surface. So, this is confirmed science. This is not conspiracy theory. This is ScienceAlert.com and Phys.org. And then we have this image of this home or castle. And we have what look like cooling towers for something beneath. Could it be steam power generation? Geothermal? And I'll give you the link to this too, because it shows something very, very strange about Antarctica being connected to South America, and a strange chain of islands that nobody can identify that are actually west of South America that no longer exist. These images what you're seeing might be places where taking photographs just doesn't work. They have to be illustrated. And it could just be because of the environment, because generating vast amounts of heat in ice caves would be somewhat problematic. It would probably be weeping and raining from the walls and the ceilings virtually all the time. And this idea of giants, some would say, well, how do you jive that with the giants? Well, this is another illustration from another map that we've used, where they showed normal-sized people next to giants. This was also an illustration, and in another video that I'm going to post later today, I'm going to show you video someone took of this craft flying. You see, somebody saw something, they didn't know how to, they didn't have the ability or the technology to take a picture at the time, so they created an image. And of course, people dismiss it, but one of my viewers had commented on yesterday's discovery in Antarctica that, especially right here, and I'll give you this location, Google Earth Pro, it shows a soffitted and gabled roof. And when you look closely, it is there. Now, I'm not saying that this building is the one in the illustration, but it could be one like it. Or we could only possibly be seeing part of a larger group of buildings. Now, where is this? Well, this happens to be on the side of a volcano, where beneath all of this, there would be steam, and there would be heat, and very likely flowing water. So what better place would there be for structures than this? If you were going to find evidence of life, this would be where it is. If you were going to be able to find evidence of a civilization, this is where you would find it. Where all of those things meet up. The things necessary for life. Volcanic soil, copious amounts of fresh water, melting water, flowing water, steam, access to geothermal. All of that would put you in an incredibly advantageous position to survive beneath. And like science has said, not me, not conspiracy theory, Florida Maquis, science has said, warm caves beneath the ice harbor flora and fauna yet unknown. To me, this is a slam dunk and almost impossible to debunk. I really don't know how anyone could look at this image, specifically this one, and make the allegation that somehow the blowing of the wind over the snow caused it to have a two-tone effect of a wall and a gabled, soffitted roof. And over here, somebody else noticed something incredibly accurate. This other small building right here. Look off and behind it. This is clearly a stairwell. This is clearly a stairway going up to this building, to this area. And all of the difference that you see in the tone from the grays and the blacks and all of this, I believe this is evidence of heat escaping. This, to me, in conjunction with that other image that, oh, by the way, the image came up under a search for Antarctica on Google, pretty much proves it. That not only is there evidence of ancient civilizations, there's evidence that there might be a current civilization down there, just perhaps in a state of survival after having lived through, existed through, a catastrophic event that separated the continent from South America. And that's why I brought up those other maps. Because that's really the key. That's really the key. Let's see if I can bring that up. See, every map prior to the 1700s shows South America attached to Antarctica, but not Africa. You never see a map anywhere that shows Africa, the tip of Africa, South Africa, anywhere near Antarctica. Let me flip through here real quick. It shows that something happened. Let me start over here. Okay, here's the first map. This one is 1595. And it's a very popular one. It shows the gap here with Africa, but disconnected. Same thing over here. This is 1593. It's kind of a looking down from above over the North Pole and up from beneath under the South Pole. But once again, the same difference. Here again, this one you can get a little bit more zoom on. It's a imcos.org/gallery/Terra Australis disappearing. But it does the same thing here. That earthquake in Japan in the early 1700s, I honestly believe, separated the tip of South America from what we know to be Antarctica. And I had another map up here. It shows giants. It shows giants all over the place. And this is the article about fossils in Chile. Nope. I guess I didn't bring it up, but giants in South America, giants in Antarctica. This image showing a dwelling that truly could only be inhabited by a giant. If you look at the size of the doorways versus where the lights are, no normal human being could live here. They would never design it to be built this way. But it would make sense for this. So I'll leave it there. Once again, I'll give you all the links that you need. Look up these maps. These guys weren't guesstimating. These maps had to be accurate for them to be able to not only get to where they were going, but also to get back home again, which for a lot of them was really the goal. Some of these maps were made simply, they went out to make the map, to bring it back home, to sell it, to make a bunch of money so that they never had to leave home again. That was the goal. So they had to be accurate enough. And the big question people ask, how could people survive? Geothermal, steam, power, flowing water, volcanic soil, and warmth. It's everything you would need. So I'll leave it there. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. Like, share, subscribe. And Lord willing, we will see you guys tonight on Twitch.